I've met so many wonderful people. Like honestly, not even like connects, but like actual good friends. Just doing that, and it's been really wonderful. And it's like like the true mark of a performer.
Got that. You got that.
Yeah.
I agree with that completely. And I'll even say I have a lesson learned for that. Going into a club, I looked around, there was nobody around but other artists. Nobody wants to go to a club and perform for other artists. Because, it's like a lot of criticism and stuff like that. But, I took it to heart because at the end of the day, I'm not going to just drive to Maryland from Philadelphia for how many hours and not get on that stage. So
Yeah.
I got on that stage, and when I tell you, I still gave it my all, even though there wasn't anyone there. It was somebody there, and I didn't even know. He actually walked up to me, and I shook his hand, just, being polite. And, speaking to people as you should. That's one thing, please, network. When you go there, I don't care who it is, you be polite, you say hi, you never know who you might meet. This man gave me a billboard down at 10th and Packard outside the Eagles Stadium, and it was there. So please do not miss any opportunities. Speak to people. Do what you got to do. Shake hands. Say hello. Be polite.
Yeah.
And you perform the hell out of whatever you got to perform and make the best out of whatever minutes you got on that stage. You'd be surprised who is looking. I agree.
Yeah, because it's not like they don't know that it's hard too. Like they probably been in that position, be like, there's no one around. I feel like I'm not getting paid my worth. You have like, rightfully probably like a little bit of an ego, being like, this is what I'm capable of, but you really do got to put in the hours, and the hours are unforgiving.
Experience point speaks for everything.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, in all fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all in all.
And also like, even before you introduce yourself, or like, we're like, oh, you're the person I'm speaking with. Just like you came up and you were so jovial, like, hey, we're here, we're in this field, we're about to do it. And I was like, this is the exact kind of energy. Like there were years in my life where like I was not bringing that kind of energy to like the work I was doing, and like everything I was doing suffered for it. And like making that flip and like actually being like, I'm gonna like positively put myself in this, like you were doing, like you just did, like I just watched you do. It makes all the difference.
I even appreciate you hearing you say that, man. That's all. This is a learning experience. That I will say. It's like sitting yourself in. I'm actually a teacher for those of you who don't know. I'm actually a music teacher. Right? Yeah, I teach kindergarten to 8. Yeah, they're crazy. It's like sitting in front of a classroom of kids and you trying to teach something. They ain't not gonna. In many classrooms, they ain't gonna teach. They ain't gonna learn nothing. You got to make that crowd like you, and it's the same thing. I take it as a classroom. I'm not gonna, perform in an area where everybody all dead. No, I'm gonna try to get y'all in with me. I'm gonna try to get y'all a little hype with me. The kids aren't gonna learn if they don't like you. That's just point blank. So the crowd ain't gonna respond if they don't like you. So if anything, I gotta definitely put a smile on. I know that helps. Everything that you give out, sometimes you get back. Most of the time, you should if it's a good crowd. So you smile, you give energy. You should get some smiles, some good energy back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was, again, like rap performances are always so interesting to me because you have to bring like an entirely different kind of energy to it.
You gotta be gritty.
Yeah, you just
sometimes.
Just like even for a second, but it's there's like so much ebb and flow, and it's like impossible to not like, even if you're in the back on your phone, or just like if you're in a club like trying to go to the bar or something, it's really really hard to not get like into it a little.
Yeah, it's like it sucks. It's like a persona. That we are said to have to portray. No, you don't really have to, and I'm trying to start that. At least, you don't got to be so hard. Yeah. I know, some things, or sometimes, I know there's a time and place for everything. Like, for example, when I say certain verses and stuff like that, I look you in your face to let you know I mean what I say, But you don't always have to be, in a club, somebody walk up to you like, hey, what's up, I'm TCGB. No, I'm not going to do that to you.
Yeah.
But, it is a time and place for everything to be soft. Not even the word is not even soft. It's just to be comfortable,
Yeah, I mean, you being a music teacher, like being involved in education, that's like that's legible to me, because like I have like an education background in music as well.
Hey.
I didn't get very far before I had to drop out, but what I did learn is that, especially when you're teaching somebody about delivery, it's like it's a whole body thing.
Yeah.
Like no matter what you're doing,
75% is your body, and they say it's that Alexander stance that you give, that right foot slightly in front of the left, chest up, head up. It's letting you know I'm here.
Yeah, you gotta plant yourself.
Okay.
If you're singing, you're going for that high note. You gotta
I gotta let you know I'm
tap
here.
the chest.
I tell you, listen, that last little note. I said, how you know if I got it? I had to take that last little breath. It came out. I'll tell you that.
And you self-produce everything, right?
Yes. Man,
That's
I got
amazing.
so sick. I'm sorry, YouTube. I love you, but I don't like you either. I had to pay so much money for so many beats, and like I could sit there and write all day and sit there and rap all day, but I'm like, man, I gotta pay for this at the end and say I do not own this beat. So, I just started having to learn it by myself, and I'm a drummer predominantly, so that part was taken care of, and everything else came with school.
I can hear that. No, I can hear, because like I'm. As I said in my video, I'm a bassist, and so like I feel like people can tell what my where my skill set lies whenever I'm making any kind of music, and I can definitely hear in the drums because I'm like, this is absolutely.
Man, you said the bass. I just got out of the string family talk with my kids, so this is like nostalgic to me. So keep going. You say bass. Do you play anything else?
Yeah. So I started on bass, like electric and upright. I moved to guitar. I have some keyboard skills, but that's really like an ongoing process. And I'm getting back into vocals. That's like been a big hurdle, but also really rewarding for me.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, play with it.
Yeah.
Play with it. When I tell you now, and I see that you got some crazy ass skills. No, play with it.
No, and also the idea of play, that's super important to me. That has been
that's how you learn. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's been like the biggest the biggest boon for me. Is approaching like anything musical from just this aspect of just like I just want to have fun. Actually,
got to.
Yeah, I can write all day, and I write some depressing music, unfortunately.
No, it's okay. You heard me say, "Why am I so angry?" Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've asked myself that question many times.
So it's cool, but here's the thing: it's real.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, people respond to real recognize real. And if it's real, don't ever be ashamed of that. I take that. I'm going to tell you why I'm angry 50 million times, and I bet you they're going to like it because it's real.
And the thing is, you're telling me why you're angry. I'm hearing all these things. I'm like, oh, these are real experiences. But also, because there is that sense of play in your music, I can be invited into it. Like, this is a well-rounded human experience. Yeah.
Be real groovy.
Yeah, absolutely. That to me is so valuable.
I've
really found that, like, as I've gotten older and I've like calmed the fuck down and stopped being like really self-centered, it is so much easier to appreciate so many different kinds of art when you can see like where someone's passion is and where someone's skill set is being applied and be like, that is actually amazing. I can like truly like this is a beautiful thing. And that set was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I meant to lie, man. Out of breath. That was actually my first longer than I'm going to say 15-minute set. Mm-hmm. So, wow, man. And I tell you, even having to produce that whole, I produced a long track just so I know, have place markers where I breathe and take, breath marks. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, that's a learning experience. Mm-hmm. You start to count. And I tell you, counting is everything.
Yes.
Counting is everything. And I enjoyed this experience to the fullest. And it's basically taught me to be ready for what I'm trying to aspire to do.
Yeah.
So I appreciated it.
No, and I could tell this was like the kind of well rehearsed where like it was actually difficult to even realize that you had rehearsed it because it was so natural.
No, the thing is that I was like, whoa, this is like, so once you're here, and you're like, all right, it's time to perform, you have this whole notion of how it should look and how it should sound before you get here. Everything's planned out here, everything's right here. When I hear this, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. When I got here, I forgot every damn thing. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot every damn thing.
That's why you rehearse, because it's when you're in front of people, even from home, one person, three people, it just all goes out your head. It's like, where am I?
Oh. I was like, oh no.
I have played so many different kinds of performances where like I'll get off stage and be like, where was I just now? Completely just like zone out.
I'm about to say, what they call that? The zone. Mm-hmm. You were in the zone.
Yeah.
That's for y'all who haven't seen that movie Soul. I just let my kids see that music movie. Go see that. It's called The Zone. When you got you something that you really doing, especially, I know you get into it too. Yeah. It's called that zone.
Yeah.
It's good being in the zone.
If I can speak at least on like the material that I'm bringing to this, which is again like this, this video which I did. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you, I did 3 takes of that. The first 2 were each over an hour, and the last one was like 40-something minutes, and cut it down. The last one where it sounds natural, that is just because I'd scripted a lot of it, I prepared a lot of materials, and I was just like, you know what, let's go. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm editing out the thing, so I'm like, hold up, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you go back.
And then I was like, I didn't actually realized before doing this like the other week is like, man, you know, you really got to like practice and rehearse, like even doing like, you know, recordings and things like this. I'm just like, well, if I'm doing something educational, that makes sense. You know, I made a lesson plan.
Just about.
Yeah, I made a lesson plan. I ran through this lesson plan essentially with myself like multiple times.
Oh my gosh, you telling me about how to prepare for a class?
Yeah.
This sounds so familiar. So I feel you and I understand you times 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it, like, especially the third one, the one that I actually kept, ended up being the most fun because I was just like, look, let's just do this thing. I had no idea what anything was gonna sound like before I got in there, and that's sometimes scary to me.
But you had fun with it. Sounds like
I did really have fun with it.
That's cool.
It's really interesting because like I come from a family of educators, and like. Similarly, I come from a family of musicians, and like those two actually don't usually overlap within my family. I'm like one of the first ones to be like, actually, I really care about this like intellectually, but also I really want to do this. And whenever I try, like, I'm a very talkative person. I'm a very.
How did that feel? Like when you had to let them know, like, listen, I feel like music's my thing.
No, it was interesting because I didn't express interest in music until I was like 17. I didn't pick up an instrument until I was 17, which like for my family is very late. And I was just like, hey, I want to learn how to play the bass. My father was like, okay, well, you're going to learn to play it though. And I was like, he was real Jamaican about it. He was like, you have chosen this and you can't go back. And I was like, I
love it. Like I'm hearing this automatically. I love it. Yes.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it was hard because I had to get good fast because I was around some cats who could play, and it was scary.
But that's good. You know, that's where you learn. You flourish at.
Yeah, it was scary.
You shot up a couple levels probably real quick.
Yeah, no, and so like I just checked out your Instagram and you were like, I'm a Leo. I was like, I know that energy. Do you ever get into a situation where like someone's like, I don't think you can do this, and you're like, oh yeah?
Oh yeah? Like, okay, I made the face you just made. Oh yeah? Like, listen.
It's like, what you just say to me?
It's a lot of times people's like, well, you know what? You just got into this and I've been here. How in the world do you think that? Well, listen, you'd be surprised how many people have a passion for something, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the thing that I'm actually going to put out there. What they say, talent beats, excuse me if I say it wrong. Talent beats, let me see. Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Look,
see that? We got some wisdom up in this crowd. You see that? Stop playing. I was thinking something.
There was like a scene I was in when I lived up north, and people like, you know, I like put in so many hours on like, you know, instrument X, instrument Y, and like I get into a room and it's like, you know, I just want to play, and someone's like, oh my God, you're so talented. I was like, never say that to me, because I am not talented. When I picked this up, I sucked. I was the worst at it. I was the worst at this.
Oh my God.
And I will never forget that because it was embarrassing. This is not talent. This is skill. I had to work hard for this.
Work, man.
I used to cry over this.
Yes. I feel you.
Yeah.
And I really feel you. Oh my God. And I'm still on like certain instruments, still trying to get that in. Mm-hmm. So that is a shared sentiment. I feel you.
Tell me about how you bring like drumming into your music production.
So I've actually drummed for a lot of drill teams, drum lines in school too.
Oh, okay.
You know, so when I say drumming, I mean like actual drum line they can and all that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can play set as well. You know. So when I went to Cheney University, you know, I ended up being their drum captain and learning all the different percussion instruments. So now he was like, "You're not a drummer anymore. You're a percussionist." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So with that, I'm like, "All right, what else is there to learn?" And after you get finished, you know, the percussion section is huge. But after you get finished, you can't graduate college just knowing how to bang on stuff. Apparently, that's what they tell you. So I had to learn how to, you know, play other stuff, and I ended up going on to learn 17 other instruments, 17, 18.
Damn.
You got free time? And I was, this is what I want to do. I don't want to sit up here and have to ask somebody, hey, I need a flutist or a flautist. Mm-hmm. Hey, I need a violinist. No.
This is, that's actually how I ended up playing guitar, because, like, bass truly is my passion. Like, I love that thing. I could play that all day, every day. But I was in some bands where I'd be like, why are you playing that like that? That doesn't sound right. And I got to a point where I was like, I got to be able to do this myself.
Yeah, I mean, like, it gets to a point where you kind of I gotta do me.
Yeah, it's and that's been the thing with a lot of things. It's like I've really learned to work well with other people by, like, you know, detaching myself from my ego. But sometimes when you do have to bring that in.
Oh, that pride.
Yeah, you got to be like, actually, hold on, I got to put my foot down on
hold on,
this
listen,
one.
I could do this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta say, wait, hold on. Mm-hmm. I got this.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you really got to say that. I know, you know, there's a lot of people that try to give help, but sometimes you really got to be like, no, I got this.
But like, you know, on the flip side of that, and this is a lesson I've learned the hard way, because I'm gonna probably like mention a lot of embarrassing experiences I've had, which are all caused by me.
Bloopers. I love it.
Which is just like, sometimes you do really got this, and every once in a while you encounter someone who is saying like, actually, I have an idea here that I think is really valuable, and you just gotta be like, actually, then bring that in. Let's get me out of the way.
Those are growth experiences, you know, right? So I had to take a lot of those constructive criticisms, and I tell you what, it gets easier the more you go on. The more experience you get. Yeah. You know, even even listen to stuff that you probably heard before. You know, it's like nice to hear it repeated because it's a reassurance.
They asked me about like my relation to beat making, because like my music isn't necessarily like always beat based, and the way I see it is that like I look at production, especially when I'm just like in the writing phase, is like this process of collaging, where just like I'm listening to specific sounds, I'm listening to specific rhythms and textures, just like putting them together, and I'm saving them for later so I can deconstruct them.
Yeah, I like that. I hear you.
Yeah, and it's, how do I say this? Oh man, I just like drew a blank, so I'm just gonna waffle for a bit before I remember my thoughts.
Hey, I feel like you painting a picture with what you just said.
Oh,
when you said all those textures and stuff that you put together with all of it, that's good.
Yeah, I
like how you described it.
Yeah, it's been interesting to like, you know, to have this background in, you know, like real, how do I say it? Like real like tight music, like jazz and funk, where like, you know, even if you're loose, you gotta be like loose on beat.
You gotta be like, yeah, loosey goosey on beat. Where's the one? I'm like, hey.
I didn't have a lot of experience with this, but when in high school I was in marching band. It's like interesting to be a bassist marching band, because I had to join the percussion section, and like, you know, like do rhythm section lead, and it's like that is an entirely different kind of performance, and like a different kind of way of like thinking about rhythm, especially when you're
and everything.
Yeah, when you're moving and like you're dealing with this much space.
Tell them again.
When
you are
moving, when you are moving on beat, when you are keeping your feet in a specific order, just like left, right, left.
Like you say that. I listen over and over again. I feel you.
You're rehearsing outside, and you can hear all these echoes. The way you internalize rhythm becomes entirely different. And also the way that you deal with, you know, things like not having come to practice, because...
Oh, God, don't miss a day. Please, you like miss a whole half of routine.
I did that one time. I had to do 100 push-ups immediately, or I was out.
Yeah, you know, they say you miss two days consecutive before the practice. Any of the 2 days consecutive before a performance, you don't perform.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. It's just that it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it was interesting to kind of like apply that sense of discipline to, you know, making like art about my feelings. Because I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people that I've worked with who, you know, come from different practices. Quite frankly, practices that don't involve a lot of black people all the time. And like, at least like my experience with being around like other black musicians has been like, even when you're just like chilling and like having a good time, you're really serious. And I think this is like a holdover from the way you like had to perform, you know, like segregation era and shit. Yeah. Because like, you know, you couldn't be going around like, you know, just like playing like, you know, playing off beat, playing off key. You couldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do appreciate you saying that though. You do definitely have to find that one. One thing you said about jazz, which really took to me just now, is when you said we still got to play on beat even slightly. When I tell you about finding that one, and one thing about finding that one with jazz, I still haven't been able to find that one with jazz. That one beat that's I'm still looking for that one. But I mean, here's what I say. A lot of things that I do find is a feeling. Yeah. And I say if you can find that feeling, you know, that's a pulse that I'm gonna give you. And you can find my pulse. Well, shit, I think a pulse is a 1.
Yeah. I remember what I was gonna say. If you'll give me the time to. So yeah, I like approach like, you know, the idea of like beat making as essentially like I am preparing material for later. Like, you know, these are like little sketches. These are little colors I'm gonna be bringing into other things, and then incorporating that into writing has been like a really interesting process of like self-discovery. I am someone who is, I produce my own music, and sometimes I'm scared to, because like sometimes like I'm like, the vocal aspect of this, the transmittable language part of this is already like vulnerable and like legible in this particular way, and it's like making the sound aspect of that also like conform to that, or like have like an entirely different texture. It's like opening yourself up and like at least to me, like an even more intimate way. I'm like, words I can distance myself from. You can like, you can think away from words, but like sound is something that just a person experiences.
I like that.
Yeah. And
hey, I think you just told me something about myself. If you're hearing
well,
this,
I heard it.
You.
I heard it in your abuse. I'm like, I can hear where like things are like ebbing and flowing and like and speeding up, and it's just like the energy, and it's like, yeah, this is a single person's artistic vision.
Yeah.
This is a single person's artistic output, and it all makes sense, and it is really like inviting into a world.
I like that. You just like really put a lot of things into perspective for me when you talk about like to me it's like when you put your emotion, where you put the most of your passion and your emotion in. A lot of times I'll sit there and I'll say predominantly I beat make, being a drum major, being the drums and everything like that. You'll hear a lot of my beats be like so finished and so awesome, this, and the third. Then I heard you talking about lyrics. I'm like, yeah. Even going in different areas, and producing all your stuff, people hearing your lyrics different from the beat, it's like I got so much confidence in my beats. I know my beats is banging, But it's then like when you hear my lyrics too, I'm still with that same type of confidence with that, and hearing that. And like I know I have that certain amount of experience, but putting it all together, you got one that you really feel. It's hard to actually explain. You got like, for example, your beats you really feel, and I feel those, and when I make those through passion. Like when I speak and I give my lyrics through stuff too, I feel that in a different way. Yeah. And that's two different feelings to give somebody.
It really is, yeah. And this piggybacks to another thought that I had where. Recently, I've been sending like essentially like a SoundCloud playlist of like my band's demos, like writing demos, like half production demos to like a couple things, a couple labels, a couple people who like might do like the kind of production we're looking for.
Just I gotta give you some kudos for that though, real quick.
Thank you. It's like at first I was like, this is so nerve-wracking to like expose myself to people who like don't know me personally, but I'm like, look, at some point it's got to get done. So like either we end up entirely doing this ourselves, or like someone's like, actually I really fuck with this vision, like I see where you're going, like I understand what you might need from me, et cetera, et cetera.
You gotta find those people.
I have a couple of friends, just like internet friends. I was like, hey, I'm going to put this, this kind of like, share your music, well, get feedback kind of thing. And it was so interesting to get like actual constructive criticism from like a lot of people whose like artistic output is very different from mine, but like who I really respect, and like mark the difference between like how I can receive that criticism and feedback now as opposed to like when I was younger and like more raw. And I think also when I was more prideful. It's like I still take pride in my work, but I'm not shy about saying like, hey, yeah, this is me finding my voice. And there's this one song and people are like, yeah, I really fuck with like the way these sections are divided, but in terms of like the production that's going on now, it feels like such and such is kind of messy, like these things are jumping all over the place. And I was like, you know what, that's actually a really apt way of like looking at this, and like trusting another person's vision, kind of in the same way like where you go to a performance and you're performing and like another artist comes up to you and they're like, hey, I really like that, I like these specific things, like
I've had that before. That
and like you can hear what they're appreciating, but you can also hear the space where they're like
I know what you could do and I want to tell you,
but I know that you can infer this. It's really interesting to me nowadays to like receive that in music, and like be approaching kind of like opinions from like an abundance model, if that makes any sense, as like a connection, as opposed to being like, I gotta guard myself because like this is so
you
precious.
You get nervous sometimes wondering if it's genuine.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll say one thing about Philly. Philly in that type of atmosphere, you really do gotta see whether it's genuine or not. Being in some of these atmospheres, and it sucks, it's kind of about who you know. And, it really sucks being in this type of environment instead of just going to, these venues and, having your music, just be appreciated with whoever's ears that's there. You like it, you like it. If you don't, well, at least you got to listen to it and tell me you didn't like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like also, yeah, not everyone is gonna be a fan, and that is
it's okay.
That's
it got to be some songs you skip.
that's a lesson I've been learning since I was 6 years old. Like, not everyone is going to like you, and it is okay.
I done got over it. It's it took a while, but it's hard. But you get over it. I know. It's like me taking my little playlist on Spotify. I know I got all my songs I like in there, but sometimes I gotta skip them. It's not everybody's kick, but that all goes with growing and constructive criticism too.
When you like write and produce, are you doing this like all from like your home? Are you just like doing everything?
So I do both. I actually have a studio in West Philadelphia between 41st and 42nd in Lancaster called Diverse Entertainment Studios.
Okay.
The name speaks for it all. You get it diverse. I'm just kidding. But all in all, I do a lot of recording from there. I used to do a lot of recording from my home studio. I just couldn't be at home doing nothing now.
Yeah.
Give me a laptop and in some quiet time, I'll make something. So at home as well, in the studio. And if I need probably a different sound or anything like that, maybe I'll go to a different studio. But I kind of stopped doing that now because I know really what I want, or at least what I would like to hear.
How do you approach like having like a creative space when you're like making your specific kind of music?
Oh man. And I tell you, this is hard, and I can even tell you, my babe tells me this all the time. She be like, "Sage the workspace." I be like, "Oh my God." I'm like, Lord, hold on, wait a minute. We was cool yesterday. She said, "I don't care, I feel it. Sage it again." So I'm like, so whatever the case may be, making a nice environment. Let me see. Usually I like catching vibes from people. Like I know I do a lot of sessions with other people, and I like to catch a vibe and jam out for a little bit so they know how I am. I know how they are, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, you felt that?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then we like, let's get to working. But I like natural vibes. Or I know that if I'm driving home from work, the car is my area. Now I know that in the car a lot of times in that cabin I'm gonna hear something, and I don't listen to the radio. I listen to my beats a lot. I listen to my beats, or I listen to beats on YouTube. Yeah, I still give them some plays. I listen to a whole bunch of beats, and then I just sit there and I'll write. Matter of fact, that's actually how I came up with Leave Me Alone. I was in the car one time, and I heard a beat, and, that Chill Sit Back came on. And, it just happened to be a thing with another friend, and another friend was like, "Yeah, you should probably do that." And I wrote it down. I was like, all right, cool. I revisited it to a beat that I made. And, I was in that mindset and that environment. When I tell you, it came together. I was like, whoa.
I like that a lot.
I was like, okay, so let's play. And like you said before, we got to play with like a lot of vocal stuff. Now, I didn't really, know a lot about like the vocals and everything like that. So I'm like, I got all these plugins. Let me just play with stuff. And, you slap them on. And I love auto-tune. And I do like all the scales and stuff and all the technical solfege and dictation, all that music theory stuff. So I understood what I was looking at, so weirdly. So I'm like, all right, cool. And let's do this. And that's how it usually comes, man.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I, for the past couple of years, I've like mostly worked out of my home, and I like working at home if I'm not also working in my bedroom.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The worst experiences I've had like with my own recording have just been like if I get up and I can see my workspace there, I'm like,
you want to do it. It hurts.
I'm
Headache.
just like, let me eat
breakfast
first,
you sleep.
please.
You can't work when you sleep, man.
Like, I'm actually moving to a new space, and like I'm gonna be able to have like an entire room like just for studio stuff.
I tell you, you're gonna love that space.
I'm really looking forward to just like having like me and like the close friends I work with just kind of like be in there and just like play around with stuff. The car stuff. That's great. I find that like I do my most writing when I'm like listening to other people's music.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So don't listen. Don't be a hater, guys.
Yeah. So like I'll take long drives. My phone just fell in my pocket. I'll take long drives and just like I have like a 24-hour playlist and just shuffle and just be like,
yes, and just play a little bit. I'm like, yeah, that was a nice chord.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice vibe.
Yeah.
She just say that.
It's like how did you do that thing just there? It's like I gotta think about that. And then like the next morning I'll be in the shower and just like come to me and I'll be like, all right, cool, let's go. Let's type this on my phone.
I wish it to be like that.
Yeah, and
I go to Google and be like, hey Siri. I hope I ain't just activate nobody's phone just now. But I'll be like, hey, I activated somebody's phone. So, I'll say that to my phone. I'll ask. I'm like, how do you do a blah, 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 da, 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 to a drop right off of a vocal? Da, 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 da. Here's what FL Studio says. And then, I go and check it out. And this is me once again for another 24 hours and another song with the same exact thing that I went to go look for. Yeah. So I feel you when you listen, you hear stuff. Oh,
Yeah, and
it's different.
Yeah, you pick up a lot of like production and writing tricks, and you just find a way to work them into the thing you're actually trying to do. Is be like, oh, that actually be a really clever way to like get this thing done, like something that's been like in your head for a while. I'll have I do a lot of like organizing in like just the iOS Notes app, just like a big old checklist.
I don't even want to show you mine. Give me that. We can give it together. That's together.
Be like, here's the song, here are the lyrics, like chords and stuff, blah, 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 like when I'm playing some guitar, and then just like a long list of like things to try. It's like I really gotta like rework this section. I want to try to like fit in like this kind of like fluttery like string texture.
Yours sound more organized than mine.
Underneath this, but it'll take months for me. I'm a slow writer. I can't work fast.
Oh,
I can't work fast.
But I feel you though. I think that my productivity would be a lot bigger. But I gotta feel it. I can't just sit there and just write something.
Yeah,
I gotta feel it.
Yeah, it's
temperature gotta be right.
I really envy the like the kind of writer who can just like hear music and then like and then like oh, I got this. I know what I'm gonna do over this. I'm just like,
I'm in the studio looking at them like this.
How did you do that?
Like that. You heard that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. I'm like, come on. Those are the type of rappers that I usually well, I think something's wrong here. But those are usually the type of rappers that they'll sit next to me and they'll rap, right? And they'll give me their first verse and I say, all right, give me a vibe real quick. And then I'll start building their beat around them. Yeah. Those are the rappers I love because then I end up sitting there making my best piece off of them. They got the best flows.
And I say this as I say, like, again, I envy them as someone who like does my own vocal work and like like writes and sings and stuff, but I'll sometimes be in a room with like someone whose like real thing is like their voice, and they'll hear some music and they'll just go and be like, this is actually can I use that, can I have that please? Is it okay if I use that, because that's better than whatever the hell I was thinking about.
I'll feel you with that. But all in all,
it's joyful though. It's really joyful. Yeah. I get so happy when I see that. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I want to play off of you now. Like, let's record that. Like, I'll pick up something. Let's twist some knobs. Let's
man,
something.
Don't say that. I done brought my MPK. Don't do that. That's a whole nother evil. I done brought my Aki or my Akai MP. Hey Jackson, you got the piano in the car.
Just in case. Yeah.
Stop playing. He knows we'll turn this to a jam session. That's what we do. But no, seriously, that's how we do. Yeah, I'm portable. Like every time, I'm portable. I have the whole Ghibli. I call my Ghibli, where I hook up all my stuff and all my plugins and everything. So listen, you let me know. I'm always around. I'm portable.
Man, I think I want to start getting into that. I remember some of the first music I made that I recorded myself. I did on an iPhone 4. I did it on an iPhone 4 on my work breaks when I was dishwashing at a Tex-Mex restaurant.
Yikes.
And honestly, like, I'll sometimes go back to those things, like things from 2013, and be like, this works.
Yeah.
This works.
Just like them old school, they're not gonna like me. Some of these people ain't gonna like me for saying this. That old school Fruity Loops packet, instead of the new Fruity Loops, and then you hook up the old DAW. The old Fruity Loops, yeah. Some people actually keep the old ones that are there because they actually move a little more simpler, or they're like more. Yeah. It's easier to handle and navigate now that what we have. Yeah. So I understand that. Yeah, completely.
It's like, and I have spent money, and I've also not spent money, wink wink, on plugins. I spent money on like instruments, guitar pedals. And it's like, I try to pick and choose my tools well, but every once in a while I'm just like, I'll get the most inspiration, and inspiration is like a weird thing. I'll get the most inspiration out of like, a free iOS app that's just like got some samples and like a distortion. I'll be actually, this goes. Hold up, let me export this. This is good. We gotta build something up of this.
Oh man, you know what? Oh man, you just brought me back really fast for saying that. See, I just joined the iPhone family. Don't laugh at me. I just joined the iPhone family, right? So I'm still new to certain things, and I was on the Android for the longest time. So for those of you out there who are still making beats and just getting into it, you ready for this? I didn't start with Fruity Loops. No. I didn't start with GarageBand. No. I didn't start with what's the other ones? The one that start with the A.
Ableton?
Everybody. I didn't start with Ableton. And all those fancy names. You know what I started with? I started with an app. I started with an app, Music Maker Jam, free, recorded with my voice and drum loops and samples. When I tell you that you would never know that beat came from that app, listen, there's so many things that you could do with the free things that you're offered. Yeah. And I tell you, it doesn't matter about Fruity Loops. It don't matter about GarageBand and Logic. They're gonna kill me. in Pro Tools. Music Maker, Jam, any other? I know you probably have a few. You have
some of the music I've been the most proud of that I made was made again iPhone 4 on this little app called Nano Studio.
Yeah, see, like even that, like Nano Studio, I know that one.
Just hours I was spending there being like, how does this work? How does this like? Let me program these
Beatbox.
drum things. Yeah, let me like take this sample. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like it's so limited, but I didn't know it was limited. You know.
Well, we don't see it that way, especially when we sitting up here making beats. We making music. We had like a strict thing in mind, like, you know what, I need this to sound like this. So we did what we had to do with what you had.
Yes.
So it wasn't necessarily limited. You know what I mean? You just did what you had to do.
Yeah, like, you know, the limitations like were going to be self-imposed. It's like you're not aware of like what you can and can't do when all you're trying to do is like get something to work.
You set limitations for yourself.
Yeah, it's like
and you can't set a limitation if you don't know them.
When they were setting up earlier, again, I think it was very dumb of me to buy a sampler that was made in 2003, but I really love it because in order to do something, I have to like really think through it. I was like, all I can do is work with audio. There's no plugins in this. There's like some shitty effects. I can resample. So like I can take some audio into it. I was like, if I want this to sound entirely different, I have to actually work for it. And like make different decisions, and it's satisfying in a different way. It really is.
You ain't never lie about that. I know.
Yeah.
Being all finished and done, like, yes.
Yeah, because you get,
I did that.
like, because you know, in the same way you get into like a performance zone, you get into a creative zone where you're like 3 hours have passed, and you're just like, yes, this is satisfying.
What
the fuck time is it? What time is it?
But when I tell you on that small screen, I'm doing some work that you never seen on a computer screen.
Yeah.
On that little small screen. But yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and it's like getting out of that mindset and like, you know, moving to like, you know, an actual studio space was an interesting transition for me because like, first of all, there were like 2 years where I didn't have any monitors. I had like a cheap pair of headphones. I had like, the worst like old school USB interface forever, and I made it work. And now, you know, I'm in a place where like I don't really like.
You're cool now.
I don't really feel like I need like new gear or like gear that's like higher end.
You're content. Like
yeah,
I got what I need to get
I'm content. Done. But I do sometimes find that because I'm not like battling against something, because I'm not being challenged by like, you know, like the shortcomings of like what I'm actually using, I don't spend as much time on it. However, the flip side is that when I actually want to do something and I know what I want to do, I can do it immediately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there are pros and cons, and it's like I feel more content, but I don't feel as like hungry when it comes to like actually having to like make the art. Like I can desire for something else now.
You know what? It's funny. When you actually mentioned how you first started out, like even finding the equipment. You know, I ain't have a lot of money, so I sat up there. I hustled through college a lot. You know, so a lot of stuff that I had was like, you know, me putting other stuff together to get other things and to get other things. Like for example, I know you guys see me operating from a Mac earlier. Oh my God! When I tell you, getting that Mac is like the biggest upgrade that I ever had. I had this old behind HP that my best friend from high school gave to me in like the 9th to 10th grade. The screen didn't work. The screen was all broken up. And I guess like all the keyboard just works. And I had this monitor. So I would set this monitor up and I'd run an HDMI cord to the monitor. Right? And I would sit up there, not even with a sound machine. I would do everything from scratch with mouse and keyboard, putting beats together, putting things in specific places, doing things the long way. And guess what? Not even on a damn monitor.
Yep.
So when I tell you, and this is 3 to 4 computers without the same damn monitor. So I'm like, yo, I need to get a damn computer. That's like, So all in all, I feel you, man. When there's a will, it's a way.
There really is a way. And I've really found like there's no wrong way to get started in like, you know, making something. Yeah, and I think that's like the kind of like legitimately egalitarian like spread of that is really encouraging, because someone might be like, you know, I met someone the other day because SMC did something right across the river there at the skate park. It's like a little like improv, like collaborative
Cool.
collaborative like sound experience, and someone was like, yeah, this is, you know, the first time that I've ever like performed in front of somebody. I have like this SP404, like have like an Electron Digitrack like back at my place, but like I mostly do like, you know, ceramic art, and I was just like, look, do you like? Do you have any questions? Because like I know about this stuff. I'm the kind of person who like will spend time and like be glad to like read a manual from cover to cover. Like I know about this. I know about this stuff. Like do you have a question that like you feel like you can't ask another person, or just like something that like you find like it's hard to get to? Because I'm like, this is the place you're starting from. This is the art you're making.
Right.
It sounds good. You're passionate about it. What do you need to like make this better for you? Like, I'm not gonna say like, go buy such and such audio interface and like, download such and such program. Like, this is what you got? Good. Let's work with it.
Man.
People have made like fantastic music on this and other things.
You know what? Wow, even hearing you saying that, and about all that equipment and stuff like that, I've just been battling with something similar to what you just said, finding the right pieces of equipment to create the right bits of sound, or the right, the right this, the right that, or to do this faster, to do that faster. Because I have artists and stuff coming to the studio like, hey, you don't got this, you don't got that, you don't got this. And I had to sit there and actually think, is it a problem with me producing? Is it something I don't know? No, it's not even. It's that apparently certain producers have certain things in place that make things work in certain ways for them to the best of their ability.
For them.
So that means you don't necessarily have to have all what Big Bad ABCD got.
Yeah.
But you need to have what is your Big Bad ABC. It might not even be a D.
Yeah, find the thing
what
that works for you.
And that's been the biggest and the hardest thing that, I've had to cope with, especially when it comes for, planting vocals, looking for the certain things to use when it comes to MPKs, how to run patches and plugins, stuff like that. No, I've actually started finding my own way now. So hear you say that, it reconfirms basically.
There've been a lot of things that like I've been like, I'm really excited to get such and such. I really want to try this. This is gonna be the thing.
Do I really need that?
And I'll be like, nowadays I'll be like, do I really need that? And the answer is almost certainly no.
No, right? Like no.
But before I'll be like, I try this. I really feel like I gave it a shot, and I'd be like, this isn't gonna work for me. It's time to move on for it. I'm like, I'm not going to get attached to something just because I had this idea in my head that like it was supposed to be the thing that was like, like the new and or old hotness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel you. I guess it's all what works for you in that aspect, and I agree completely with that.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this, like jumping back to the using your certain DAWs, like you use FL. That's great.
Yeah.
FL is amazing. You can make any kind of music in any kind of DAW, but I'm gonna say, you do not need to use Ableton Live to do anything. I promise you.
He's telling you the truth.
if you are a person who listens to this and you're wondering, it's like, maybe I should try, like, look, it's great. I used it for many years. There are other solutions. You do not need to use Ableton Live.
Very true.
For anything.
There are other options.
There are other options. It's expensive as hell. Don't put yourself into a hole with something that you might not even,
Watch this. You ready? Hey, do we got any Ableton Live users in the audience? Oh, look. Hey, so can I get a hunya?
Yeah.
Yep.
Does it work for you? That's great. It's beautiful. It's amazingly powerful. I don't care anymore.
She's like, yeah. Oh man.
I don't care anymore.
Listen, okay,
Yeah.
we over here.
That's I think that might mean, all I have to say on that.
Okay. Listen, Ableton, y'all help me.
Yeah. It's like
crazy. But all in all, thank you, Nkozi. This has been an amazing talk.
It was really a distinct pleasure to see you perform.
Yeah, like I've been looking at your stuff, and your stuff is bomb, and you work stuff I can't even look at yet.
Thank you. I the way my brain works, I have to do the most complicated thing possible to get
awesome,
the simplest,
mysterious ways
to get the simplest result, because otherwise I don't understand it, and it's
awesome. I don't care. That's awesome, mysterious ways. Oh my
it's
god,
hard. It takes a lot of time. People get very annoyed with me, but like I gotta do it. I was raised by some extreme nerds,
but it works.
It does work, and you know what? I have fun doing it. So.
Yes, and that's all really that matters, to be honest with what we do. Mm-hmm. You better have fun or we gonna quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is stressful, and I'll tell you that. So thank
y'all. You don't do it
cool.
if you don't love it, and you clearly love it.
For 38 minutes. I'm just kidding. Well, all in all, it's hot. 91-degree weather.
It's real hot.
But it's only gonna get better than this, And I can only ask for hotter weather, because hotter weather brings more people. More people will bring party. Mm-hmm. Y'all heard that? Mm-hmm. Most definitely, in good time too. Hopefully everybody be safe too with the masks and these big groups and these COVID stuff, for real.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
with this hot weather, you're gonna see a lot more of this, and hopefully Okay?
Yeah.
I'm right now missing
You see
mine. I'm a
this?
bad
You see
example
this?
talking all this smack. But definitely, please be safe,
Okay,
guys.
we're a little far away from each other.
Okay, this 6 feet of space. Listen.
Yes, yeah.
That's how you do that.
It's like 5.5.
Come here.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. It's like, no. But thanks, guys, for having me. Thank you, Nkozi, for even having me.
Thank you. Thank you
Anything
for
else?
talking to me. This is really lovely.
Hey, listen. This is awesome, y'all. Definitely, please, let's do this again.
Mm-hmm.
Peace. It's TCG Beats. I'm out.
My name is Nkozi, and I don't know. I'll do something someday. All right, later.
Later.
All right, here come the motorcycle boys.
Hey.